Hello and welcome to this episode of My Safety Consultant with me, Pete Thomas. In this episode, we're going to be talking all about strategy and why it's so important. You've got the professional expertise, you've set up the consultancy, but have you got the right strategy to pull it all together to bring in the right clients for your business? But first, let me just tell you about My Safety Consultant and why we set it up. Our new website launched recently. Had a couple of bugs to iron out in the first instance, but we're over those now. I've been a safety consultant. I was a fire safety consultant and a safety consultant for a long time. And one of the things that I found is that marketing my business was so hard to do. I was paying for advertising in magazines. I was paying for advertising in local newspapers and everything really. Networking events, just so many areas that I put my money into, and there was an awful lot of online stuff, so like from professional bodies to third-party accreditations, but none of those I found actually advertised my business. They didn't get me clients as such. And I thought, if I have my website for my safety consultancy now and it's not on the first page of Google, no one's going to find it. Like, we know that. And there are so many hardworking safety consultants out there, and I thought if we all pull our resources together, build a really good directory platform, we can really help promote safety consultants. And so that's why I set up My Safety Consultant. Have a look at the website. I'd really appreciate it. Now, onto the episode. As safety consultants, we know all about our professional skills, right? We know all about risk assessment. We know all about safety management systems, but running a business is a completely different beast. Most consultants end up working in their business and not on their business. And because they're so busy working in their business, they never have the time to build a good, solid strategy. And I'm not talking about a plan. I'm talking about a proper strategy for their business. And most businesses need a clear direction, right? Just like if we're evacuating out of a building, we need clear escape routes, clear signage. We need to know the direction that we're heading into. What are our unique strengths in the sector that we're working in? What specific clients do we serve best? And what problems ultimately can we solve way better than any of our competitors? But let's address something fundamental first of all. What is a strategy? And what's the difference between a strategy and a plan? Many consultants that I speak to will say something like, hey, by next year, I want X amount of staff, or I want X amount of clients, or I want my turnover to be X. That's a goal. It's not a strategy. Goals are the what. I want to achieve £100,000 turnover. Plans are the when. I want to achieve £100,000 turnover by Q3 of 2025, for example. But a strategy is the how and the why. It's the approach that will get us there to help us achieve our goals in line with our plan. Think of it this way. A strategy is your unique way to winning in the market. It's about identifying the real challenges in front of you, understanding what makes you different to the competitors, and choosing what not to do. And this is crucial, by the way, making hard decisions about the direction you're heading in. So let's give you a real world example. So if you're a fire safety consultancy and you say, do you know what? I want to increase my turnover by 30%. I want to expand into a couple of new regions, and I want to hire some more consultants, some more staff. Now, their strategy could be, we will become the go-to fire safety consultants for heritage and grade listed buildings. We're going to focus entirely on the northern part of England, and we're going to deliberately avoid anything in new construction. We're going to invest heavily in training, and we're going to partner with conservation organizations and heritage bodies. You see the difference? The strategy is the framework as to how you're going to achieve your goals and your plan. And what it allows you to do is when opportunities come up, you can say, does this align with our strategy? Is this aligned with our strategy, or is this just a distraction that's going to tear us away from what we set out to achieve in business? And if a piece of work crops up, and it doesn't align with your focus on heritage buildings, then you've got the opportunity to say, no, we'll decline it. This is not our specialism. It doesn't fit within our strategy, so we're not going to do it. It's like having a compass rather than just a destination. A goal may be the destination, but the strategy is the compass that helps you get there. And not only that, it helps you to make the most of the strengths that you have and create a lasting and competitive advantage. So how do we get some strategic focus then in our business as a consultancy? Well, first of all, don't try to serve everyone. Every time I look at a new safety consultancy website, I'm always so pleased when someone has found their niche and they focused on it. And I'm always slightly disappointed when I see someone that says, well, we do everything. We do everything from all fire safety to all health and safety to all training and everything from asbestos to well-being and everything in between. And I sit and think, well, how can you do that? Like, how do you don't even have the time to do the CPD to do all of that? And there's one person or two people, it's not a big enough team to do everything. The issue is because you've not found your niche, your area of focus, you've just gone scattergun broad. The issue with that is that you can't actually go sort of deep into that subject. You can't differentiate yourself from the competition, and therefore you can't evidence a competitive advantage. If everyone does that, no one has a USP, and then there's no reason to choose you because you're not necessarily the best at this. You're just a jack of all trades and can do absolutely everything. So for example, if I was looking at fire safety, I've already mentioned about heritage buildings. By the way, heritage buildings, if you're in fire safety, absolute nightmare unless you're good at heritage buildings. That's actually not a bad niche to go for, just saying. But then you've also got whether it's industrial sites, whether it's high-rise. High-rise at the moment is absolutely massive with Building Safety Act and safety case reports. Schools, hospitals and healthcare, like all of these areas are really, really interesting areas that you can niche down into. And then you can use that as part of your strategy to leverage your experience and expertise in that sector to make you stand out from the competition. I read a book a number of years ago called Will It Make the Boat Go Faster? And it was the British Olympic team, the rowing team, that had won gold at the Olympics. And one of the questions that they had was, will it make the boat go faster? And their whole strategy focused around this. Everything that they did, if it didn't make the boat go faster, they dismissed it from their approach. That was it. It was gone. Every single little thing, when they were faced with the decision, the question was, will it make the boat go faster? If it doesn't, they didn't do it. Really good book. And I'd really recommend that you have a little read. Good book. So let's look at, say, fire safety, because I've done a lot on this on fire safety, because I always talk about general health and safety. So it's nice to provide something for our fire safety consultants that are members on our platform. What does this mean for you then? Well, first of all, it means that you don't have to offer everything to everyone. You don't have to offer every single different fire safety service to every single different industry and sector across every single county across the UK. You can actually be quite specific. Perhaps, and I'm just saying this is always a tough one, perhaps it's time to drop some of those clients that drain resources. We all know when you set up a consultancy, you're going to have those consultants that they pay you well, they're respectful of your time, and they're a pleasure to work with. And then you always have those people that you work with who are challenging, time-consuming, and actually, do you really get the return for the time that you've invested into that client? Focus on becoming the absolute best in your niche or area and wait for the specific opportunities to come up and then pounce on them. Now, in the last video, I spoke about patience. Now, strategic patience is really interesting. I think this is one of the single biggest, most powerful things in business is patience. I see so many consultants that do a number of different things. So like, for example, they will post on LinkedIn about the business, and then they will go great guns, posting 3 times a day, 7 days a week, do that for 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden stop posting altogether. And I can imagine the fly on the wall conversation of, well, I tried, I went at it hard, I posted 3 times a day for 2 weeks straight, and not a lot happened. Well, that's like going to the gym 3 times a day for 2 weeks straight, right? Not a lot's going to happen other than you being exhausted. You need to put in a consistent effort over a long period of time. So I would never suggest putting so much effort into one area that is detrimental to the rest of your business. But you could post consistently 5 days a week for 90 days and then evaluate the impact that that has. And this doesn't just apply to marketing. This is everything. This is from your service offerings to pricing approaches to all different types of marketing techniques. Sometimes you see consultants, when it doesn't work immediately, they give up and go, it doesn't work. Take some more time. Really think about the strategy. Think about what you're trying to achieve in what sector. And more importantly, what's so special about you? Like, what can you really leverage above the competition to stand out as to why you are the best person for this industry? When you've got that, that is the basis of a really great strategy. Identify the core problems that you're trying to solve, create a clear action plan as to how you're going to address them, set up some really scalable systems and processes, be willing to say no to opportunities that don't fit. And this links to my white labeling video that I did a couple of weeks ago again, saying no to opportunities that aren't going to build your business. And then wait for the right moment, the right time. Be patient. Wait for the right time to expand, to pounce on a new opportunity, to grow your consultancy into a sector. Be patient. Perhaps the master of strategy was Steve Jobs. When Steve Jobs went back to Apple, Apple had a phenomenal range of computers. It was hard to work out all of the different computers in their range. And I think Steve Jobs spoke to his mum, I think it might have been, and said, would you buy an Apple? And she said, no, it's too confusing. There's too many computers on offer. And every different outlet that was selling their computers had a different range or different model. And Steve Jobs cut it down to just a couple of computers. I think it even might have been one. Company was bleeding cash. They were losing money, range right down. A load of the distributors and outlets actually dropped them as a client and said, well, we're not going to stock this if you're not going to stock the range that we want. And he said, that's fine. Everyone comes to him and went, you're completely mad. You're completely mad. And then they went, what are you doing now? And he went, now we wait. We wait until the next big thing. And when the next big thing comes out, we're ready to pounce. And that was when they created the iPod. So their whole strategy was to take a really, really complicated product and slim it down to just one or two core things. Be patient and wait. Just as Apple couldn't be everything to all people, as a consultancy company, you can't be all things to all industries and all sectors. Really focus on what your strengths are and play to those strengths in your strategy. But hey, that's my opinion. That's my opinion. I would love to know what your opinion is on strategy. I would love to know what your thoughts are of safety and fire safety consultants strategy that you've seen and strategy that you think that works. If you think you've got a good strategy, or if you think I'm talking rubbish, more than happy, drop me a comment in the comments below. Please remember to hit that like and subscribe button. I cannot tell you how much of a difference it makes to what we're trying to do here to help safety consultants and fire safety consultants. And thanks very much.